This copyrighted telecast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the University of Nevada. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the express written consent of the University of Nevada and Learfield.
Welcome into a new episode of Wolfpack All Access from inside our Champion Chevrolet studios. I'm your host this week, Shannon Kelly. After a tough start to Mountain West play, the Nevada men's basketball team strung together a pair of league wins for the first time this season against Fresno State and Air Force. The Wolfpack would look to make it 3 in a row when San Jose State came to Lawler Event Center. Here's a look at some of the highlights against the Spartans. A back-and-forth affair at Lawler until Xavier Dussel grabs the rebound and finds Daniel Foster. The Aussie slams it across the globe back home as Nevada retakes the lead. The Spartans would go on a 6-0 run until Foster would help cut the deficit. A strong drive to the basket for a 3-point play. Nevada trails by 3. Under 2 to play in the first half. We're all tied up until Trey Coleman feeds Nick Davidson, who gets the friendly roll. Then Kobe Sanders with a nice pass to Dussel, who hits this one from NBA range. The Pack end the first half on a 10-3 run and would lead 36-32 at the break. 5 minutes into the second half, Davidson calling for it and drives it all the way to the rim. A two-handed slam for the SoCal native as the Pack are up by 6. Under 13 to play, Dussel wants to take another shot from downtown. The X Factor in the building on Saturday. Makes his third three-pointer of the day. But Tim Miles and San Jose State weren't going away quietly. An 8-0 run from the Spartans, and suddenly we're tied back up at 55. Under 4 minutes to play, Dussel wants to take another shot from downtown. The Pack are up by 8, and Lawler is getting loud. Davidson would put the exclamation point on this one. A handful of one-possession games for the Pack as of late, but Nevada wins 75-64.
I was kind of seeing stuff that I've seen from, the whole year this year. I just kind of went out and played more free. My teammates were able to get me the ball in scoring areas. I was able to execute. And then I was also able to get guys open when they did double. So we had guys like X get hot today. I think he had me 2 assists. He was getting a lot of people assists. So it was, thank you. So it was great to have guys come alive today.
As far as the next, stretch of games we have, I feel like the first stretch of games we had to start conference play is kind of what, prepared us for these next couple games we're going to have. We dropped those ones early, but, we got a little bit of a groove now going, so I think we'll be ready for this next stretch of the gauntlet.
Nevada now hits the road for a game at Utah State on Wednesday night. Tip-off in Logan is set for 6 o'clock. Coming up next on Wolfpack All Access, we chat with head coach Steve Alford. Plus, a little later on in the show, we take you inside baseball's all-new state-of-the-art Tom Dolan locker room.
Davidson baseline left drive. Nick goes in and dunks.
Nice pass by Kobe right there. Davidson just took that lane and jammed it.
Welcome back to Wolfpack All Access from inside our Champion Chevrolet studios. Let's head out to Legacy Hall as Alex Margulies caught up with head coach Steve Alford after the game against San Jose State.
Head coach Steve Alford joining us here in Legacy Hall. Your team gets their 3rd consecutive win after beating San Jose State. 2 wins here at Lawler Event Center this week. What was the kind of big standout thing as you guys were able to get this win over the Spartans?
Well, we just feel like we're getting the guys back. We've had a rough patch, and that's not easy. And we've had so many close, tight games, and it's exhausting for coaches. It's exhausting for players when there's no let up. There's not a game where all of a sudden you can just breathe, and we couldn't really breathe in this one either. It really didn't pull away until the last 2.5 minutes. But I just like our guys fight. I just like the improvement that I'm seeing. We're cutting harder. We're getting out in transition more. And our defense, I think, is getting better. And so, obviously, we're going to get 2 really big tests now with going to Utah State and having San Diego State coming here. But we're in a much better place not just because of the wins, Alex, but we're in a much better place as a team, individually and collectively now than what we were 2 weeks ago.
Let's talk about Nick Davidson. This one, he had 23 points, also did a great job in the glass. He was a facilitator, didn't turn the ball over, but Nick certainly was undeterred in this one. It seemed like he played with a little bit different of a level.
Yeah, I think he should be Conference Player of the Week. He's had 2 really good games, and that was going 0 for 5 at the free throw line. And he just cares. You know, after the Air Force game, it was a win, but he wasn't particularly pleased with his foul shooting. He was in the gym till 11:30. That's what you do. And then you got to just get on, move on to the next one, move on to the next game, move on to the next foul shot. And he's done that. And he's a tireless worker. We ask him to do a lot, both offensively and defensively, but we've talked about it. It kind of is an evolution that has to take place. You don't go from being the third guy when it comes to scoring opportunities to then the man without some growing pains. And he's had to go through some growing pains, and yet his numbers are still really good. He had 7 rebounds, I think, tonight, 23 points. I think he had 4 assists, no turnovers, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So I thought he was really good today.
Another guy that's had a kind of a big microscope under him this year has been Kobe Sanders, and I thought the way that he closed the game against Air Force, he played really well down the stretch. How much growth have you already seen from him and just going out there and getting that mid-range game going?
A lot, and I think he's playing faster. I think that's helping him, is that his tempo has gotten faster. People are picking up now, and he's just going by him instead of doing a zigzag drill, the old zigzag drill. And we've been harping on his tempo, and his tempo has been way better in the last 3 games. And I think that's going to be a huge part of what he does. His 3-ball, he's a very, very good 3-point shooter. He's passing up too many of those. He's getting good looks with that. He's got to shoot those because he's a very good 3-point shooter. But I like his defense. He's got good length. He's doing a lot of good things for us. And as you mentioned, in this homestand, Air Force and San Jose, he made big plays down the stretch.
All right, let's talk about Xavier Dussel. He's had some ups and downs this year, but he, and in particular in the second half, really came through with some big 3-point shots. He had 5, which was the second most he has had this season. Were you guys doing anything in particular to try and get him certain shot looks, or is it just a matter of this guy is over a 40% shooter, he just needs to get the volume?
Yeah, he came in shooting 43 and bettered that tonight, so his percentage is going to go up again. I think with X, it's more of his energy of how he cuts, his demeanor defensively. Tonight he had 5 rebounds. He had a huge deflection for a steal inside 2 minutes. Those are the things that are what is impressing me. He's working on all aspects of the game. Everybody knows he can shoot it, and we need him to shoot it. We need him, but he's got to be out there. He's got to make me put him out there because of what he's doing defensively and his effort that way as much as it is just shooting.
All right, so as I mentioned at the top of this, 3 consecutive wins now for your team, and you're going to hit the road first Wednesday to take on Utah State, who's been pretty great this year so far in the Mountain West Conference. You know the challenge of going to Logan. It's going to be a raucous atmosphere. What do you kind of make of the matchup right now between you and the Aggies?
Well, it's a great matchup. You know, I thought we did a lot of good things in that game here, and they won the last 4-minute game. And since then, we've done a really good job of winning those last 4-minute games. Again, against San Jose tonight, we were able to win that 4-minute game. I don't know what that number was, but it had to be close to double figures. So our guys have gotten a lot better with that. Now we know we're going into a great basketball environment. It is one of the better environments in our league. You know, when you look at the Pit, you look at San Diego State, Utah State's right there as far as environments go. And so, but we went in there last year and were able to win. We've played well in there. I think our guys know that we're in a much better place than what we are right now. And then we got a huge game on Saturday here at Lawler. You know, a sellout hopefully, and have our crowd going crazy because we got to finish there on their senior night, which is not going to be a lot of fun in early March. So 2 great opponents that are well coached and very good players, very good talent. But we're looking forward to the opportunity.
Coach, we appreciate your time.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Alex. Thank you.
Coming up next on Wolfpack All Access, we introduce you to a trio on the Nevada women's basketball team hailing from the Pacific Northwest, suiting up together once again in Northern Nevada. Welcome back to Wolfpack All Access. I'm Shannon Kelly. The state of Washington is well represented on the Nevada women's basketball team, with a trio of sophomores all hailing from the Seattle area. From playing on the same court as young up-and-comers to reuniting in college with the Wolfpack. Our Mike Stephenson has more on their longtime connection, one now growing stronger in the biggest little city.
Oh yeah! Like every coach in the country, Amanda Levins always keeps tabs on Seattle, Washington.
A lot of great basketball, men's and women's, coming out of there, every single year.
That's a good shooter on both teams.
And in 2022, the Wolfpack's staff put the full court press on Imbi Jones.
They came to a ton of games. It was definitely a hard decision, but ultimately I chose elsewhere.
When we didn't get her, I think we were all pretty heartbroken. Probably sounds a little bit dramatic, but when you just follow a player around and you spend so much time talking to them and you really want to have the opportunity to coach them, it's hard at the end when you don't get them.
While Jones ultimately chose Wisconsin, Nevada's recruitment wasn't wasted, thanks to her on and off summer ball teammate since 7th grade.
The more we watched that team, Izzy, I liked her every time I saw her.
I'd known they'd been at our games, I'd seen them on the sideline and stuff. They had mentioned how they were watching Imbi and how they really liked my game.
I just thought she impacted winning. She was tough. She had, just some savviness about her.
I loved it on my visit, so I just committed.
Izzy Sullivan proved to be Nevada's sharpshooting consolation prize, pledging to play for the Pack ahead of her senior season at Eastside Catholic. A season that would eventually see Jones help lead Garfield High School to a second straight state championship, celebrating with fellow Bulldog Rakaya Jackson.
It was definitely 2 really good years, and I felt like I ended my high school career on the highest possible note, winning and then winning a state championship. Rakaya and I's bond just grew stronger and stronger.
We looked for each other a lot when we played, and it was fun.
And in the summer of 2023, Nevada was in on Jackson.
Just phenomenal athlete, great rebounder, great timing, amazing jumping ability.
I knew Izzy committed here, of course, and that they had talked to MB. Came on a visit in April, and when I got here, I was like, wow, the sun's out. It was completely different from home.
With Jackson on board, suddenly the Silver and Blue boasted 2 of Jones' best basketball buddies.
I was friends with Izzy and Rakaya separately, they didn't know each other. So then I was kind of watching their relationship when I was at Wisconsin. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are such good friends now.
Not long later, the talented 6'2" forward realized being a Badger wasn't for her.
We probably all found out she was in the portal at the same time.
I was talking to Rakaya, we were like, we gotta get on that, get her to come here.
I feel like that's rare that you play with your old high school teammate again. And we were successful in the past, so I was like, why not?
I kind of already knew where I was gonna go, especially I had 2 friends here now. They were just kind of egging it on the whole time for sure.
And then finally when she committed, I was like, it's about time,
Honestly, Izzy and Rakaya got that recruitment done better than us coaches.
The dynamic trio from around the Emerald City was together in the biggest little city.
We were just super excited because it was for some reason in our life, no matter what team we were on, we always ended up being reunited somehow. So it was this full circle moment to play D1 together.
We want to have a sisterhood here, and a kind of a built-in network once they get to campus. And to already have that established, I think is really special and unique.
Now these Seattle sophomores plan to put the Wolfpack in a special and unique place. Here's Sullivan for 3. Jackson off the save from Gibbons. Down low they go to Jones, the lefty hook.
Obviously, the goal is to make it to postseason, win a Mountain West championship. I think that's something very doable. We're still early in our careers, and we can just really build on what we have. We really can just grow together and reflect on how long we've known each other.
It just feels more like home.
For Wolfpack All Access, I'm Mike Stephenson.
The ladies were on the road for a pair of games this week at Wyoming and Boise State. The Pack fell to the Cowgirls in a close one, 66-61, then dropped its second game of the week as well against the Broncos. Up next, the Pack host Air Force on Saturday. Tip-off against the Falcons is at 1 o'clock, and you can watch it on Nevada Sportsnet. Here's Chris Murray with a look at This Week in History, presented by Bradley Drendel and Janae.
In his playoff debut, Nevada football alum Colin Kaepernick made NFL history, leading the San Francisco 49ers past the Green Bay Packers on January 14, 2012. Kaepernick rushed for 181 yards and 2 touchdowns in a 45-31 romp. The 181 rushing yards were the most ever by a quarterback in an NFL playoff game. Kaepernick added 2 passing scores as the 49ers had 579 total yards and scored its 3rd most points in its storied playoff history. That was the first step Kaepernick took in leading the 49ers to Super Bowl 47, which was a heartbreaking 34-31 loss to the Baltimore Ravens. But Kaepernick remains the only Wolfpack player to start a game at quarterback in the NFL's Super Bowl era.
Hi, my name is Natasha Shetty. I'm on the track and field team, and I'll be answering 5 questions today. The program, the people, the team. I'm not a really big fan of the weather. It's like too cold for me, but it's been a really good experience so far. I would say BJ's. I kind of like BJ's. He's a super nice person. He's really understanding, and he's, in my opinion, he's one of the best coach I've worked with. I don't think I've seen everybody dance. I would say Val. I love Christmas because it's all about love, family, and people come together. So yeah.
Welcome back to Wolfpack All Access. The 2025 baseball season is less than a month away, and third-year head coach Jake McKinley surprised his squad before the first day of official practice with unveiling its new home to the team at Peccole Park, the Tom Dolan locker room.
The last locker room, I will say there's a piece of me that's a little bit bummed to see it go, just because it was built through so much history. This community saved the program, and Coach Powers and this community built that locker room. So it's something that we were proud of, and we wanted to take good care of it. But just like anything else, you know, times change, and it was time for a new space. We felt like this would help us in recruiting. We thought this would help us as it relates to day-to-day operations and providing a great space for our players. So it is obviously much, much nicer. The bells and whistles are great. But there's an eclectic value to that old locker room, and there's parts of it we'll certainly miss.
Honestly, I thought it was going to be pretty sweet, but I mean, it really exceeded expectations. It's a really cool space. I think everyone was, super happy with how it turned out, and we're all just super thankful for the Dolan family and Tom Dolan for being able to build something like that for us and having our backs. So, yeah.
The first thing that stuck out to me is on the back wall it says Tom Dolan locker room, and we knew that's what it was going to be called, but just the ability to honor his legacy and everything that he did and be in that locker room, be on this field, especially with everything that Don Weir's done for us and the Dolan family, it's incredibly part of that.
Walking in this place, I wouldn't have recognized it 4 years ago when I first stepped foot on this campus, so it's just something to be so freaking happy about. And like I said, just like the amount of gratitude I have towards the Dolan family is pretty incredible. The amount of support the community shows us.
The entrance is awesome. We have a pro wall, which honors the over 100 players that have been drafted out of this program. There's a vertical TV showing displays of practice plans, team announcements. There's a bar area. The lockers they're much bigger. There's 40 lockers. Everybody will have their own lockers. We used to double up and share. And there's a functional bathroom space, which is also private. The old one did not have a door. So it was a little bit tricky bringing like recruits and their moms in here, but it's a fully functional college baseball locker room. There's individual showers, there's laundry spaces, and also I want players to be in here outside of just the practice window. Our team loves to play video games, they love to play cards, and we wanted a communal space here in the middle. Instead of something like a ping pong table, I felt like this would be more functional for our personnel.
Nevada installed a new playing surface at Peccole Park in the fall and plans to rebrand the bleachers and outfield padding to its school colors after this season is over. The 40th annual Bobby Dolan dinner is just a few weeks away. Wolfpack Hall of Famer and Major League veteran Lyle Overbay is this year's keynote speaker. It's all happening on Thursday, February 6th at the Reno Ballroom. Just head to NevadaWolfpack.com/Bobby Dolan dinner to get your tickets today. Baseball season is less than a month away. Nevada opens up the 2025 campaign on February 14th with a 4-game series at Cal. We'll wrap up this week's episode of Wolfpack All Access right after this. Before we go on Wolfpack All Access, it was a big weekend over at the Lombardi Pool. The swim and dive team took down in-state rival UNLV on senior night. Sophomore Scarlett Ferris set a new Nevada school record in the 50-meter free against the Rebels. The native of Scotland broke Hall of Famer Gia Lynn Sun's record that stood for 24 years. Plus, the Mountain West basketball tournament is less than 2 months away in Las Vegas. All session passes are now on sale as it's happening from March 9th through the 15th at the Thomas & Mack Center, with the ladies kicking things off first on March 9th, then the men starting on March 12th. Secure your tickets today by heading to NevadaWolfpack.com/MW Tournament. That'll do it for us this week on Wolfpack All Access from inside our Champion Chevrolet Nevada Sportsnet studios. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Good night.
This has been an exclusive presentation from Learfield.